Do you want to beat the crap out of rat people? If yes, Warhammer Vermintide 2 is the game for you. If you can ignore some annoying features, the game has it all. I did not play the first game of the franchise, so I went fresh into the world of Vermintide. The first thing I thought was that I might not understand the storyline, but my friends told me that there was any problem with that. Despite that, I went to the wiki to check it and get complementary info to add to the innumerable tips given to us during the cutscenes, loading times and dialogues during the game. So, what happened? The 5 heroes of Fatshark were captured, and without their help the town was conquered by the Feaster clan. A portal is now under construction, and that would allow the Chaos Warriors, new allies of the Skaven rat people, villains from the previous game, to access Ubersreich. The portal fails, and that gives some time to our heroes, who, in their turn, manage to escape captivity. This is the main starting plot for this game. Graphically, for a player who is used to play with graphical setup near the maximum on the PC, switching to console makes the adaptation a bit difficult. Although the environment is very well created, with the post-war carnage and gore permanently present, we always have the impression that the world is blurred, as if to disguise or a lower graphical quality. I went to read other reviews to check if I'm the only one to find this, and well, so it seems. Personally, I could not disregard that, I admit. Speaking about sound, everything improves substantially. The sound clues that the game gives to us are sublime. We know beforehand that we have enemies close to us. However, when I use headphones, I cannot quite see which side they approach from, and I often confuse the footsteps of the enemies with those of my companions. Then we have the horn. When we hear it, we already know that there will be massive battles, with hordes of enemies appearing. I also like the dialogues during the game. They give a lot of useful information, and even more of the sarcastic one-liners that introduce some humorous tone throughout the game. Vermintide 2 is a 4-player co-op game. We can play online with 3 other humans or offline with 3 bots. But what annoys me, and I'm not able to understand, is why we cannot share our progress between those 2 modes, since the game is essentially the same on both modes. Either we transpose the progress online to the offline by eliminating the offline one, or we do not even have the option of transitioning the offline to online. What's even more interesting is that online players should find it fun to banish players in a seemingly random way near the end of each level, just to troll them, which makes them miss the progress of the mission. I did not like this, and that fact made me essentially play offline. We have 5 characters with more or less distinct game styles, all with a melee and a ranged weapon. Here I realized that the bots did not miss any shot, while I struggle a lot with the aiming controls. My favorite character was an elf who has a bow capable of firing a huge amount of arrows in a tiny amount of time, which was great for crowd control in tight corridors. On the other hand, I did not like the dwarf, since whenever there was any little amount of vegetation, I could barely see over it, and even a few slopes on the ground could cut off much of the visibility. I recognized the merit in the design, but it was not practical for me. And what do we do in this game? Well, we get into more or less linear maps, and we have to defeat successive orders of enemies until we reach the objective. The combat system has simple mechanics: attack, block and dodge. Despite the apparent simplicity, they are relatively difficult to master perfectly, and this becomes obvious in higher difficulties. The combat itself is excellent. After I began to understand the controls, I found it a threat, with rare exceptions where it seems that we are going to hit the opponent and we miss, or the opposite. I did not see bigger problems than those, quite the contrary. It's all fluid and intuitive. What annoys me the most is the number of times the game sends us to repeat a map, when there are still available maps that we have not completed. This repetition makes us lose a bit of patience. We want to finish the level faster, we make more mistakes and we end up by losing more often. Each time we lose, 30 minutes of playtime are completely wasted. So the game loop is essentially this: we enter a random level, we kill everyone until we reach the objective and we restart. There is a system of loot crates where we get better weapons and items, and we can also destroy the weapons we already use to get materials to craft improvements to the weapons we still use. Each character can unlock 3 subclasses that slightly change their playstyle. There are no microtransactions whatsoever. In a nutshell, Fatshark has here a very interesting game, very fun with excellent combat. There are, however, many things I did not like. They are not bad enough to make the game look bad, but they do not let the good things shine as brightly as they could. If you feel that you can ignore the negative stuff, or if you have Game Pass service, it is a game you should not miss.